So in this Gaslands build, I'm going to be building up this Matchbox racing mini. As you can see, it's in pretty poor state. I bought this with a bunch of other cars from a car boot sale a long time ago, and I've just been trying to think of what to do with it. My plans are to use this for the Gaslands UK March competition, which is to build some kind of off-road buggy type vehicle, considering the wheels are pretty much destroyed on this thing. There's like one missing and the rest are all buckled. It just seems like the perfect candidate to completely wheel swap on. Just show you the underneath there so you can get a better idea of what it is when the camera wants to focus in. There you go, Matchbox series, such and such. I haven't drilled out the post yet because as part of the competition you've got to take a picture before you start any work on it. So I took the picture, uploaded it. I'm just going to record this little clip of the video before I start tearing it apart and doing all the Gaslands modifications. So I'll see you in the next clip. So yeah, with some more progress on this Gaslands build. Still haven't come up with a name for this thing yet. Just got left to paint it now. It's pretty much an easy build. I already kind of had an idea where I wanted to go and do with this thing. Kind of based it off the Mini Cooper from Mad Max Fury Road, which you probably didn't see because Miller hated the Mini Cooper and that, and very rarely showed it. I think there's only 2 scenes in the entire film where he shows it in the actual film, and like one of those is it's hidden behind the Giga Horse, so you can barely see it because obviously there's a dust cloud. But yeah, I liked it myself, just because I like the Mini Cooper. I also have plans to build one of these like in 1/24 scale. But yeah, the idea was very inspired by that. Initially I did try and drill a hole in the back of the roof for a gunner, but the hole, I didn't have a drill bit big enough and it just wasn't really right enough. Actually, you can't tell. It dented the roof in and it just ended up being a mess. I just cut the rear section of the roof off because it was easier. I'd always planned to cut the front out, like the hood, and put the engine in, as you can see here. So I'll go through the parts just like I usually do. So the front plough here is from Chemsol Design. This is part of the police bumper guard set. Same with the lights. These are lights that are supposed to go on the different bull bars, but I think they look a lot better up here. The axles are also from Chemsol Design, as well as the shock absorbers. The wheels are from the snowplow car that I built for Christmas, you know, the Christmas Gaslands car. These are the wheels that I salvaged from that. The hubcaps are from Zane Industries. You can buy wheels from Zane Industries and usually they come with little centre hubs, so I just kind of took the centre hubs and put them on that. And these wheels just to kind of give a bit more detail. The side plate here is from Autokill. It's from the Crash and Burn sprue. The engine's also from Autokill, from their engine sprue, obviously. Funny enough, the air filter is from the exhaust sprue for some reason, but the exhaust is from the air intake sprue, because it's obviously supposed to be an air intake, but I've kind of mounted it like that to make it look like an exhaust. The rear bumper here is for a front bumper for another, like a generic brand, like a no-name brand truck. The same truck that I used for the Scavengers trailer. I basically parted out the truck because it was just too small, not in scale. So I just parted it out and just took the front bumper. The jerry can and little holder here is from Chemsol Design. What else have we got? The driver is actually the figure that's supposed to sit in the sidecar of the motorbike that I did a while back. I did a German 172 scale motorbike. It came with a bunch of figures, and I took him out because I put a minigun on the sidecar for that motorbike, so that's where he's from. The machine gun is from Autokill. That's from the Mad Scientist sprue, although it didn't have an ammo box. I've added this ammo box, which is also from Autokill's heavy weapons sprue. The gunner himself is actually from this kit here, which is the Artillery German gun set kit. He's actually this guy here, although I've switched these arms out with one of the other dudes. Initially I was actually thinking of putting this AA gun here in the back, but I just didn't think logically it would fit. Plus I want to put it on another vehicle. Basically this is a good kit. If you want figures for this scale, pick up anything in 172 or 176 scale, and they usually the figures work and you get a little detail. Although there is companies that make the figures. I think this kit was probably maybe 10 quid, and obviously I've got a bunch of guns and a bunch of figures that I can use in other Gaslands projects, so definitely worth picking up a few 172 scale kits. I do intend myself to buy a few more figure packs just because cheap figures. Also, I'll just flip this over. So obviously I've added to make it look like it's 4-wheel drive. The body and the gunner isn't actually attached. Obviously these hands were never meant to be on this figure, so I've had to use some green stuff to fill in the gaps between his arms so he could at least look like he's holding onto the gun. So I'll just get rid of him. Sorry, bud. Obviously the bars are made out from square styrene tubing, and the roll cage is made out of some circle styrene tubing. The roll cage, yeah. If we can get this thing off, just to give you a bit of a better look. Obviously it's a shame he doesn't hold the steering wheel, but you know, it wasn't obviously meant. I have a couple of other figures, but I didn't really want to put one of my more detailed figures from like Mad Cars or Green Miniatures in here, because obviously it's going to be obscured because of this, and so I decided to do that. But this is just to give you a better idea. The wheels do move, but yeah, they're a bit rough. But it'll work when I go to animate this at some point. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to try and think of a colour to paint this because I'm still not too sure. Originally, because I had the roof on, I was going to paint a Union Jack on it, but now without the roof it doesn't seem like it's going to work. So I might have to change it to another colour. I may just go with the traditional British racing green and the roof being white, or maybe something else. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to do bare metal because I'm not a big fan of doing every car bare metal. Because although it was inspired by the Mad Max car, I just don't want it to be a complete carbon copy. Although obviously it isn't a carbon copy now, but you know what I mean. I don't want everything to look like, oh, it's just, you know, trying to replicate Mad Max. You know, I want to put some of my own little spin on things. So yeah, that should do about it. I'll see you after I've painted this thing, and hopefully I'll have a name for it. So we are at the final part of this Gaslands build. I've just had to call this one little mini madness. Just because that was just seemed funny of a name for it. This is going to be my entry to the Gaslands UK March competition, which was to build a buggy or off-road type vehicle. So yeah, I had a few little setbacks with this build, like with the roof. I was cutting a hole in for the gunner, but it didn't work out, so I had to cut the rear section out. This wheel was a pain to get mounted on the axle, and I had to re-drill a hole in so it's not quite centre as I would have liked. Also the shock absorbers on this side are a little off and they rub against the wheel, but not much I can do about it because obviously I was limited the amount of time I could, and I didn't really want to rip it apart and try and start again without damaging it and missing the deadline, because I've had a few issues trying to catch up on the deadlines of a couple of competitions I've entered before. But overall I think it still turned out amazing, and as you can see it's just an awesome looking little buggy. Cool thing is the gunner does actually rotate. So you can see he can shoot over there, or if he wants to shoot over here, he can shoot over here. But yeah, overall I still think the build turned out pretty well considering the limited time frame and the setbacks I had. Like usual, there'll be a little slideshow of the glamour shots for this thing at the end. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.